All right, we're live, and I'm a little grumpy today. It's not really a good day for me because my camera's decided to stop working. Got an angry face today. Normally I'm happy and go lucky, but that's not the case tonight. So we're just gonna do the thing, okay? That's gonna be the thing. That's what we're gonna do. Um, so I'm just super irritated. So I got a new camera. So number one, I got a new camera, and I'm really excited about that. But it's not going to work tonight. So it's not working with OBS. It's not working with all the stuff. Anyway, whatever. It's whatever. Um, Welcome, number one. Welcome everybody. Thank you for coming and attending. My name is Tim. This is the Corvus Cast, where the jokes, where we got a host that's not particularly attractive. The jokes aren't funny, and we just talk about made up crap, anyways. Um, I just wanted to welcome everybody to the show, whoever it is, whoever you are out there. Welcome. Thank you for spending your time with me tonight on this Saturday, this wild card football weekend. The Bears are against the Packers right now, and I know you guys don't really care about sports ball too much, but I got to listen to my wife screaming and hollering because she's a Packers fan, and I'm a newly reformed Bears fan. So I'm just going to hang out down here and watch this cast, and hopefully everything is going to go smooth, and we'll see what happens. So if you've been following along and doing a bunch of, paying attention to what's happening in Corvus Saber Foundry universe, you've seen a lot of things happening. There's a lot of stuff going on. In January, just released a brand new set of parts. There's 2 new adapters that came out. And I think I got somebody up in here. There we go. We got Ron up in here. So Ron's here. He likes the birds, obviously. Go Birds or something. I used to stay out in New Jersey a while back, and it was hard not to get wrapped up in the birds. But you also had like a lot of like Jets and a lot of Giants and a lot of those teams in that same area and space. Nobody likes the Jets though. Nobody, except for Jets fans, which are weird. Anyways. Really important things going on in Saberland and the Corvus Saber Foundry universe right now, and it's really exciting because I'm on like the precipice of something big, and I'm getting ready to unveil it very soon. I want to show you guys tonight. I actually have stuff printed out behind me. You might be able to see them hanging out right here. So don't zoom in too closely if you can. I meant to censor or like cover that up so that nobody could see it, but you can kind of see it behind me. The big things that have happened. So yeah, like the beginning of this year, we started off strong, straight away, immediately, big cool things happening. Got out 2 adapters, and I'm gonna come over here at some point and show you these adapters in this space with my new camera that does all the cool autofocusing bits. So that you can see all these parts, and it's super high definition, so you can see all the cool things. And it was actually a pittance for the cost, but the stupid thing is that it doesn't work with my camera. So it's going to take some jiggery pokery to get it figured out, and hopefully you guys will see it here in just a minute as soon as I get it pulled up. What's going to end up happening is my main camera is going to freeze when I turn that new camera on. I don't know if it's the USB driver or something. I think I might need to get a dedicated video card, like a dedicated like video capture card, to be able to catch both of these cameras working at one time. But it seems like it's an issue with HD something or other. Anyways, I keep bouncing around. I don't have a script tonight. There's nothing. I was planning on launching something really cool this evening, like not launching it, but like telling you guys in the cast about it, like bring you into my circle so that we could talk about it, and then have discussions kind of later down the lines for a launch later next week. But it turns out with the technical difficulties that I had today with the cameras and stuff, I'm going to end up probably doing that next week. I just have a couple more things to iron out. I'm really at the point that the project is going to happen. There are some of you that have been in on this project, and there are some of you that haven't. If you have not, that's not because I excluded you purposefully as a reason to hurt you. It's more so I just wanted to keep my community kind of tight initially. With the people that had started with me at the very beginning of this adventure. And so if you weren't included in this project, don't fret, you will be soon. Just keep you alert of what's going on. And so the two parts that released were two adapters. I got a Type 3 and Type 4 adapter. I'll show you over here on this side. Coming for February, there is another two adapters. It'll be the Key Mundi adapter, or the CAM, I guess is what I like to call it. It's kind of similar to what you would see off of the Key Mundi here. It's this piece, basically adapterified. If you're familiar with Corvus Saber Founders bits and parts, we like to take little tiny bits off of Sabers and put them together with other bigger bits to make really cool pieces. And so I've got that adapter that's coming in the beginning of February, and then I have another round adapter over here, a round bottomed adapter over here that we'll have launching. And then the big one that is the super cool one is the MPP, or the Vader. I'm really excited about it. It came out super well, and it's gotten a lot of buzz in the community. I think I had a post go around 3,000 views on Reddit, and it hit pretty hard on TikTok. And so I managed to get some pretty good press on it. I'm hoping that people see it and people act on it, and it seems like the reception has been really good. So the MPP is currently in production. I made some minor tweaks and changes, and I'll talk to you about those when we go over here to the side. You're going to have to bear with me. I'm going to continue talking, but the screen is going to go black as it sweeps across until I get this new scene set up, because my camera's going to freeze. So hang tight, just 1 second. Hang in there. I'm going to add my new video capture device in here because my camera just wants to play stinking games with me. There you go. We got a big close-up view there. I love how this thing just isn't quite friendly. There we go. We got it set. Now let me shift over here and I'll start talking on this thing. We're going to lock that thing in place and pull that one layer up. There's the picture image. Okay. We're over here at the new position. And I got some pieces here to show you. It's kind of a little bit of a state. I spent a good amount of time playing around, and I got this cool remote too that'll show you some cool stuff, right? So I can zoom all the way down in here, shapow, zoom in, bow, 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 and then we can pop back out to a 6 or 7 times or something. Well, maybe not even that, 3 times. That'll pull us all the way back out. So I can get zoomed in and show you all the cool, neat stuff, right? Let me put these gloves on because my hands are tore up from doing housework today. So just give me a second. That way you don't have to look at my janky fingers. Try to respect your sights and visions. All right, so if you were under a rock this last week, the release was actually one of these guys right here. The release was one of these, and I'll show you the other one here in just a second. Here is basically the 2 adapters that were released. Here's one. This is the standard angled adapter. It's kind of themed off of the original choke that we had. Normally I have some lights over here, and I had them charged. I just got them charged. I got these really cool small rig lights. And these things will light up. Show you guys the lights there. Whoa, I took it over. Sorry about your ears there, guys. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. Maybe that'll work. Nope, that's not working. Not the right intensity. Man, I'm all over messed up tonight. My light intensity needs to be just a little bit lower there. Yeah, perfect. Okay. It's a little bit better, I think, maybe. Shine it from the back here so you can get full illumination. It's not even working right. All right, that's kind of helping to drown out some of that. All right, there's the Type 3 adapter, new edition number, Type 3 adapter. It's got the angled anterior and a neck down bit, and when you combine it with a couple of these different pieces, you get some really cool design elements in it here. This was kind of a pseudo thin neck almost. One of my customers here decided they wanted to build something, and so I put together kind of a preview. I don't normally do previews very often because it's time consuming, but he had asked me really nicely, and I got one put together for him. So there's one, 2 of those, and then the other one that was released was this guy here, and this is the Type 4 adapter, and this one has a Really deep neck. I think it's down to like 27 or 28. And so, it's supposed to be like a pseudo thin neck. I can put it on this and I can show you what that's supposed to look like here. Sorry about your ears. If you hear all the clanking around of the parts, I try to make that a little bit less sensitive for you there by not clacking them around so much. But you can kind of see there how that's supposed to look. Really nice, like straight choke style there. Doesn't look like there's too many people in here tonight. It's not very popular because it's football night, obviously. But there's those two that launched earlier this month. And the next two that are coming up, man, I'm just a mess tonight. The next two that are coming up are these guys here. This is the round bottom. I did show this last week, the round bottom mini choke. It's got a nice look and nice feel to it. It's really easy to make something pretty cool looking here. I was working around with something last night and showed some guys off some stuff. And I wanted to show you this too tonight. How easy it is to make a pommel basically out of this component here. So I'm just going to show you this really fast. This is the new round bottom choke that's coming in the month. And if you put it onto here, now you have almost something that looks a lot like an oak shot. If you're into like medieval stuff. Oak shot is a guy who basically categorized and classified all of the swords, all of the sword archetypes basically that were made, and he did a lot of work describing what these pieces and components look like, documenting them in books, the different forms, things. And so I put this together last night. I was just dorking around with it, kind of, and I found this element. I thought it looked really freaking cool. I'll put my hand behind it so you can kind of see the shape that takes. But nice little choked aspect there, and a nice finger well for you to bind your thumb or bind your pinky in there if you're holding your lightsaber or your sword. I really like that. I think that's freaking cool. It was an unexpected element that I just kind of stumbled upon. If you can accentuate it too by adding another component to it as well. So if I add on just one of my accent bands here, you can see it really steps out and makes that nice deep well for your finger to fall into. It gives it a nice amount of purchase on it. So that's coming here in the next couple of weeks. I'll be launching in the early part of February, right before the MPP, which is going to be the star here of the show tonight. We talked about it last week. I showed you kind of a rundown, but I wanted to make sure that I get people into the know on this part. So that we could keep the interest high on it. So I'm going to turn on another one of my lights here really quick, and hopefully get it pointed over here and into the space so that we can use it. I don't know why I had these all discombobulated in the wrong, in the wrong settings, but they're there. Here we go. A mushroom, I guess a mushroom pommel. I don't know what that means. I think that's an oak shot thing. I'm not 100% certain, but it definitely has a resemblance to a mushroom if you put it in the correct context. So last week we discussed the MPP, and this is a really cool piece of kit. It's a modular, like 2-piece MPP. Something that I don't think I've seen anywhere in the community, anywhere at all, to be honest with you, because normally your MPP comes as one whole element. It's just this whole piece like this. Nobody ever separates them into their individual component element pieces. People will sometimes take this lower band off and they'll use it independently as a accent piece or an accent ring of some sort. But nobody ever has made, to my knowledge, an MPP quite like this. Which is why I'm really, really proud of it. And it allows you to use these in different ways. Obviously, excuse me, choked on some slobber there. Obviously, there's going to be some limitations to how you're using this because I try to make it as modular and easy to use as possible. And so this upper shroud here is keyed, so you can kind of see the key down here on the bottom. Yeah, there's my autofocus doing its thing, not autofocusing the way it's supposed to.
So it should be autofocusing here. You can see the key down there on the bottom, and it interfaces with this key inside of here. I could turn that just a little bit to get you to see it. There it is, the key inside of that element. So it clicks together, locks, won't allow it to twist. There's just a tiny little bit of play in there, but the tolerance is very tight. So you have to be careful about like what you put in this little band. You can kind of see there's like a stepped piece. That's important so that it sits down inside of this, right? And so you got to be careful what you put in this area if you're going to try and use this for something else. You have to clean it up so it fits okay. But the important piece of this is that you can use this shroud portion independently of the lower part, so you can have a 45-degree angled emitter anywhere you want to, and it does play pretty nicely with accent rings and bands. So if I were to put this accent ring here and thread this component on like so, just to make a gee-whiz 45-degree emitter section, it does play pretty nicely. The new addition, like the new change to this part, the design change to this part, actually removes this box back here. So it kind of sacrifices a little bit of the look of an MPP for a little bit better modularity and seamlessness. So you can actually get a nice seamless 45-degree emitter section, or emitter, cut emitter, or slash emitter, I guess is what we'll call it. And so it allows it to slide up and down. You would mount it with this, oh my gosh, mount. Man, my brain stopped working. With this mounting slot. You mount it with the mounting slot right back here. Of course, I have the shiniest material known to man, mithril, and so it is reflecting all this crazy amount of light back here. But basically, in the new iteration, this box comes off of here, and it just makes it the same level as all the rest of this material back here. The slot will still be there. It'll just be a little bit shallower. It should be pretty easy to make that work, right? So there's that piece. And then, of course, the accent ring portion, accent band. I don't know whether to call this an accent ring or accent band. I think it's more like an accent band, I guess. But you can use this accent band independently. If you know anything about my parts, you know that my accent rings and accent bands have a shim inside of it. And I can't remember who coined that term. I feel like it was one of the guys on my Discord called Eidolon. And they named it the shim. Basically, it acts as if it's a normal accent ring or an accent shim. Not accent shim, timing, sorry for your ears, the timing shim, which I have one right here at hand. So this is a standard timing shim that you would find like given or sold through some of your Nexus vendors. And so essentially this ring has a 0.5 millimeter timing shim right inside of here. And you can kind of see that split in that space. And so I can put this in here and show you what I mean. It kind of sits on top of that. And basically it just traps between whatever your parts are. The top of this is a little bit larger than 33 millimeters, like by I think quite a bit, like 36 or so. But the lower portion is 33, and so that's the registry that you're looking for on your parts. You want it to be nice and snug, so it doesn't wiggle around too much. It's got like 0.5 millimeter of play in it. I think I have it. The tolerance is set to like 36.1. And so what happens is when you put your parts together, that component traps it in place and doesn't move anywhere. Makes it a nice modular component, and you can swap this in between like larger or smaller pieces to put it wherever you want to on your Saber. I'm really excited about it. Again, this thing is going to come as a kit, and it's going to be 3 pieces. I'm showing you the third part here, which is an emitter tip, a new emitter tip that is designed specifically to work with this. So if you're using other emitter tips with this component, you're going to have to do some trial and error to make it all fit. And so I think I showed an example of it on the air last time when we were transmitting. And I'll go ahead and show another version of it now. So you can see that if you try to put this together, like this emitter tip, this is the type 1 emitter tip, together with this shroud, you can see that flush, because what's going to happen is when this sits into this component, it sits down flush. So when it sits flush, you can see that it will not interface with the holes here for your emitter tip. And so one of the issues we have to overcome here is like, where is this going to fit? Well, the way that I managed to design this, I gave this just enough space so that you can sink a single Type 1 underneath of this. Let me find a Type 1. I can't find one. It's hidden. Doggone it. There it is. You can sink a single Type 1 down in here, and any of your emitter tips that have this type of lower section, basically this is a 5 1/4 or 5 1/2 band of material where we sunk the retention screws. You can put that one in here, and once you get it all torqued down, it will sit just here at the top of this band, or just here at the top of the slot. So you can still effectively put in any emitter tip that you want to. I may make a riser or something that goes down inside of here, like a smaller like male-female component that just gives like a little bit of lift or a little bit of like elevation out of it, so that you can put these in here and still have a little bit of flexibility with mounting this. But as it sits right now, you get that emitter tip sitting right at the top of that box, and it gives you a pretty cool like appearance here when you start playing around with what you want this to look like up here. I could throw another one in here, I guess, see if I can find it really quick. I got it. There it is. This wasn't supposed to be a play around thing, but I wanted to show you guys all of these pieces just to make sure that you're aware of what is here, what is available, what's coming, all that stuff. So here's another example of another tip fitting in that space. This is the Type 2, or most people know it as the Menace. I think that actually looks really, really good. I wish that this light was not so aggro, dude. It's super bright. There we go. I guess I could turn that intensity down just a little bit. The side lights are still kind of pumping hard, huh? Need to get like a reflective box or something. Kind of helps me like cast the light a little bit differently. But yeah, that's the shape of things to come here. That's the MPP. That is the thing. This is gonna be the coolest part I think I've ever produced, in my opinion. Like right behind something as simple as the accent rings. This is the one. This is what I like. This is what I want. I got some more ideas and more designs for separate pieces, for different versions of this. So my plans are, this is going to be the MPP. This is based off of like an ESP Vader. I have one that is a little bit differently designed, or one that I'm working on that's a little bit differently designed, that has an S curve here instead of the slash, and that basically just do the same thing. Slots on here, it fits, does that thing the same way, and it would just be interchangeable. But I also have another idea for another lower ring, which is essentially using the Return of the Jedi ring and making essentially what amounts to a DV6 Vader or an ROTJ Vader Barbican almost, the way that that's shaped. So it has like an S curve in it, like your Graflex. So we'll play around with that, but plenty more things coming in the future. Really, really, really excited about all that stuff. I'm gonna shift back over here, and we're gonna go into like a let's design kind of phase. So bear with me while I get readjusted and I get the camera set. Do me a favor, if you guys like the new camera setting and you can see it, you like it, think it's cool, and the ability to do all of these things in ultra high definition with autofocus and really nice quality. That looks super good. Throw me a like or something in the comments, and and let me know what you think about it, because I'm really happy with this purchase, and it was not very expensive. It was only about 50 or 60 bucks for that overhead camera. So I'm gonna work on getting another one, and we'll see what the next bit brings here. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap over here. I got my Let's Design up. Let me get this set of gloves off here, and we'll go into this Let's Design element. I'm not going to cut the cast short just because we're going past the 9 o'clock thing. I did start late, so I'm on the hook for 1 hour. We're at like the 25 or 30 minute mark. I don't know. I'm not watching. I can't see. We're at like 25-minute mark. And so we're going to do this Let's Design thing. One of the things, I've got a list of things over here, like a list of parts over here on the right of me, that is essentially all of the things that I want to do this year for
for parts, like for the things, for all the stuff that we want to do. And so the number one thing that I have on the top of my list right now is the MPP. I've been wanting to do that for like 3 years. Finally getting an opportunity to do it. Standby one. I got to turn this guy off completely. Like remove it. Yeah, get rid of that one and then come back to scene 3 and turn it back on with another video capture device. So I add an existing one. Yeah, there's my big dumb head. Stand by just 1 second while I refix this. Hey, there's my pretty face. You guys can see me. I'm down here. Got you guys. Cool. All right. So now I'm back. Again, I've got a list over here on my right-hand side of the stuff that I want to do. I was talking about the MPP being like high on my priority list. It's already going to production, so we're working through that right now. And once it gets here, we'll launch that probably like March time frame. It'll kind of coincide with this other project that I'm working on. So that will kind of fall in line together, and then basically what the plan is to use that other project and the subsequent parts launches kind of in concert with one another. So I'm looking to have like launches happening twice a month now, like one part, like new parts coming, and then additional parts showing up in different ways. So MPP will be the first thing. The second thing that's on my list, and I've put this off for about a year, like the accent ring that is made for D-rings and cover text. And so it's a two-parter. It's got like an accent ring and it's got a cover tech wheel that's going to go on it. So people have been asking for that one. Somewhere in the middle of that space, there's going to be restocks for all of the adapters that we've got, as well as new types of adapters, like simple adapters. And so I've got you're kind of looking at them in front of me. I've got plans to launch these here, which is a 5.5 millimeter, adapter, so that we can start putting like accent bands and rings basically like together on either end without having like a gap or too much gap in between them if you wanted to. Or it would allow you to put like an accent ring on one end, like the shallow end of an accent ring on one end and the shallow end of an accent band on the other. So you can make like slowly, progressively more complex assemblies of parts. I was making some like lesser assemblies over here on this side and realized that a lot of the components that I was messing with would really benefit from having a slightly longer adapter. And so, I've got this plan that's kind of coming together, and as soon as I get that thing ready to go, I'll let you guys know what's happening. But tonight's been tough. It looks like I'm really having a hard time getting viewership. Last week we had like 5 or 10 people, like one person tonight. Ron, thank you for staying here with me. I appreciate you. It seems like everybody else is interested in something else tonight. All right, so that set of adapters there, I've got. I want to continue expanding the thin neck, and that means taking it to another level with something that I've been working on. I have a wind vane, and so I want to expand the Obi-Wan Kenobi, basically the Obi-Wan Kenobi inspired line by adding a wind vane thin neck that has 3 additional components to it. So it'll be the wind vane itself, and then it'll have an interchangeable like outer ring that looks like an Obi-Wan, and then an interchangeable outer ring that looks like a Luke, and an interchangeable outer ring that looks like a Leia thin neck. And like everything Corvus Saber Foundry, there's a cool little trick to those as well. And those rings are flippable, and so the wind vane would be threaded, and you can flip the rings so that you can get a standard shape, so that the wider bit is to the bottom, or you can get like the Leia shape where the wider bit is to the top. And so you could do that with all of the different versions of those rings, and they're all threaded for I think like 30 millimeter diameter threads, and so you'll be able to get not just one Obi-Wan Kenobi wind vane look, but 2 Obi-Wan Kenobi wind vane looks out of 2 sets of parts there. It actually ends up being like 3 looks, and even the vane itself is threaded. I misspoke, actually. It's not 30. They're actually threaded for 29. So you could theoretically take the wind vane and thread it directly into a regular Corvus Saber Foundry part and create a stubby thin neck with a wind vane top. And so that was another cool element that I was really excited about, having that piece in production. And so that would be the Obi-Wan Kenobi wind vane, three of those pieces, and then there's an Obi-Wan Kenobi thin neck adapter that I want to make, which is a top and bottom. Basically, it would round out the rest of that Obi-Wan Kenobi like thin neck look that you want to get, that people want to see, and then kind of bring all of that together so that you get the grenade grip, you get the top, it's the Obi-Wan Kenobi adapter top, and then the top of the actual wind vane itself as it goes into the emitter. So you get like the whole package all in one go. Eventually, I'll get around to making the Obi-Wan Kenobi emitter itself, but there's already a couple of them out there. You guys can use those for the time being until we get a little bit farther along. Either way, really excited about getting those. There have been questions and inputs from customers over the week saying, hey, I want more switches. And I said, yes, I hear you. I want more switches too, but I'm not quite to the point of producing switches. Right now, I've got them written down for like May, June timeframe. So it'll be like the middle part of this year before I readdress those. And I'm actually trying to move away from the AV switch towards a dedicated like tactile effect or a tactile element, which would basically just be a pin type actuation piece that protrudes through the hole. I've already got the design. It's already put together. I just got to contact the factory to make sure that they can machine the inner diameter, because there's a bit of a recess for pin retention. And so essentially your modular core would butt up against that piece and retain it inside there against the core and the inner diameter of that switch, and the button would push up against the pin, holding it in place, so the pin would positively engage with that button and do its thing. I already have the designs and drawings for it. It's just a matter of getting it to the factory for production, not for production, for testing. And then there's a couple of other ones. You guys might have seen me put out the infinitely adjustable adapter last year. I really liked that. I thought it was cool. And then someone else had talked to me about angled bits. And I think that probably needs to be bumped up. I have it written down at 7. It needs to come up, I think, probably towards like 3 for the beginning of the year. And just to get that out there so people can start building angled builds. I know that there have been some desire for... What are we looking for? Some desire for the angled bits of like 15 and 30 degrees. And so I have those drawings already done. I'm ready to put them into production. Not into production. I have them drawings done. I'm ready to get them to sample. It's just a matter of picking when that's going to fall. And I think that probably in the beginning of the year is going to be better. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, and I'm hoping that the current tide continues the way that it has as we are picking up new people pretty continuously over the next couple of months. I've been talking a lot. I haven't been doing a lot of designing, and so we'll just go ahead and make that transition to design. We're over the hump at the halfway point. Something that I had been messing around with, and I can show you guys what this looks like here. I have an idea that I wanted to show, and I might have shown this once or twice before. I was working on some character shrouds that I really, really liked, and that character shroud is a Graflex. And I don't actually see the Graflex in here. Where did I put that? Nope, it's not there. It's just in development. Ah, yeah, there it was. I think I found it. Yep, that's the one. Okay. So I've been working on. I've had this kind of drawing put together. Hey, Ambers, what's up? Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you getting up in here, taking a look at this stuff. As I've mentioned previously, I've kind of been exploring this Graflex idea. I've got this design for it. I'm going to do some more refinement on it. I want to be able to make sure I can get a central position on here to put essentially put down one of the glass eyes. But I haven't really gotten the opportunity to redesign this and work on this. And so I figured I would break it out here and show you guys. That's okay. I understand that. I thought I would just go ahead and show you guys what this was going to look like. And so I had this idea for how do you make a Graflex and make it in such a way that you still retain the retention ring, right? The bunny ear retention ring. And so I kind of kicked a bunch of ideas around. I'm still kind of working on it. And this is a couple of years old now, this design. But you can kind of see there's a slot back here on the backside. And it's reminiscent of the actual bunny ears, what should go there. And you can kind of see there's a little bit of an angled space for this piece to fit. And the idea that I got here is to take these here bunny ears, and if I zoom in on these bunny ears, I'll show you here in just a second what they look like. Oh my, that took off way wild, didn't it? Okay, get this back over here. All right, so you can see on the bunny ears that there is a little bit of an angle set up in here, right? And that angle is important. Why did it do that? I don't want it to do that. That angle is important because it interfaces with this angle inside of here. And so essentially you would be able to take these bunny ears and plug them onto this. It has the recessed hole here on the backside, and oops, has the recessed holes here on the backside. Gosh darn it, get to clicking. I'm trying to do this clicking thing. Recessed holes on the backside and that profiled element so that you would sink this down inside like so. I think I got that right. Yeah, just enough space where it makes the inner diameter just perfect. There you go. It fills that inner diameter space perfect. Well, the problem is that I don't have something to attach these to. And so I came up with this thought process. I was like, hey, how do we put this ring in here? How do we make a ring to do this thing, right? And so I came up with a ring element here that has a hole, a drilled hole on the back side of it. And I think that it's pretty elegant. I think that it would work okay for achieving this. It is the same diameter as all of my parts, so 33 millimeter, which means that you could use this as its own separate element somewhere. But essentially you end up with a look something like that, and then you would use whatever retention ring down here on the underside to fit that gap and retain your blade, this piece being purely decorative. And I think that it achieves the look that I'm going for, but I'm not perfectly happy with what this ring looks like. I think that it looks kind of okay. I don't really necessarily like that this is pulled in as far as it is. It doesn't look like the band that I want it to look like. And so tonight I think I'm just going to draw this thing up and play around with it. I want to see what this height is from ring tip layer to ring tip layer. 12 millimeters. Okay, so we got 12 millimeters to work with. It's not the exact size of the original band. I can go look it up, but I don't have that available to me at the moment, so we'll just go with the 12 millimeters. So we want to play 12 millimeter by 33 millimeters to get this figured out, and then we'll play around with it to see what we can come up with. But I had a brainwave the other night. I thought that it was really cool, so we'll test it out and see what it comes up with. So say we wanted 33, we want to do an extrusion. We cancel that. I do want to finish that sketch. I want to extrude it to 12, whoops, 10, 12. And we're going to get really tiny today. So this inner diameter, that's going to be 25.6. And we want to make sure that that fits like so. And most of our work, I think, is going to be here on the side, kind of in this fashion. And we're going to cut, I think we're going to do this. I said it was 12 millimeters, right? Yeah. I'm not sure why there it goes. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. We want to do something like this with some lines, and I want to build essentially what amounts to the edges of the ring. So we're gonna drop this in here just like so, and just like so. All right, and what my goal here is to revolve these. We're gonna spin that right round, baby, right round, just like that, to make what kind of looks like the top and bottom of the band. Basically, if you know about the Graflex, the Graflex is composed of a ring that kind of threads through to the outside, and then inside of it is a couple of bands that kind of are shaped like this. And so the way that kind of works is that band expands a little bit for whatever is going to go in it. In the real world, it was a light bulb, so like that band kind of expanded a little bit for the light bulb to fit in, and it would clamp around it to close it. Well, the way that I know I have a Graflex clamp around here somewhere from LGT. I gotta go find that. It sounds like my voice is getting a little husky too today. Holy cow! I'm actually gonna expand this just a tiny little bit because I want to capture a look right in here. So I'm gonna put a radius on here so that looks like the edge of something, right? That's 0.75. We want 1. Yeah, okay. So that looks like the edge of this band on the Graflex ring. And I'm actually going to add that to here too. And we will round this. You know what? We're actually going to do something just a little bit different here. Let's take that back out one step. Why you do this? All right. Okay. Actually decided that was going to look a little bit better. Kind of flying on the seat of my pants on this one. All right, that's going to look better. All right, and then the reason why I'm taking this out like this is because the edges of that ring, it's actually just like stamped metal, and so I'm trying to capture the delicateness of that stamped metal with a nice rounded curve, because when you look at it, the inner band is retained by these, the outer band, which is the center section of this ring, is retained and kind of like pushed on by these inner spring components. And they're all just made of like this stamped metal. So they look really kind of delicate. And I want to try and capture that delicateness so that it looks a little bit like this component is being held in place by that band, right? We can keep that at that 33 millimeters, but we're going to do something. We're going to do something kind of interesting, and you guys you may or may not like it, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to work on this plane, and we're going to make a cut into this so that we can see here. Make a cut all the way into this piece. I don't know how far I went. 12.5 millimeters. Saved by the measuring tool. I don't know if they call it a ruler or what. I'm not sure. All right. And we're going to repeat that down here on the bottom as well. I want to replicate what this ring looks like with my cuts, just so it looks kind of cool. Not too cool, but cool enough for school, right? All right, got the sketches finished. We're gonna do a cut, and this is gonna extrude one direction. We want it to go up, out this way, and cut just like that. And I'm not a huge fan. That looks like it looks like all right. I can't tell, but it looks like that's just cut a little bit too short. So let me fix that really quick. Edit that skiage. Line? Why did that do that? Nope, not a fan of that. Why did it do that? I'm not sure why it decided to do that. Let's try it again. Let's try that again. All right, we're going to attempt this one more time. See if we can get this to work the right way. And I think I see what the problem is. It decided it wanted to align it directly with this. And it's making like a constraint-driven thing. I don't know why it's doing this now. It's been doing this to me the last couple of weeks, and I think I hit a switch or something in it that caused this to behave this way. It's still not low enough. Why is it doing this? All right, that's what I wanted to see, if that's going to look like that. But you need to make sure that this is rounded over, and oh man, it's just awkward tonight. What the crap's going on here? Nope, that looks like shoot. All right, it's not quite going the way that I want it to go. I have to do a little bit more playing around with this to see what I can get it to do. So let me see if I can find what my inspirational image was, because I was looking at kind of playing around with this idea, and I got it a couple of days back, so I gotta go track it down. I wish that I had a way to show you all of the lightsaber pictures that I have on my phone, because I have a ton of concepts just hanging around. Oh man, I don't even know where I put it. It's so far back. It's with all my all of my other all of my other MPP pictures. So I know that I'm not terribly far away. I'm really more interested in keeping it as close to the diameter that I need it to be, so that I don't have to do a lot of other craziness to it, to make it work with within the confines of the Saber. So that's not it. Really sorry. I'm just kind of failing today. It's been kind of a rough day. For whatever reason, it just has not worked out in my favor today. There we go. Okay. Well, that's close enough. We'll try that then. All right. Yeah. That's a good idea. It's probably a better idea. Okay. So I like the shape of what this is doing, but it's clearly not behaving quite the way that we want it to behave. So we're going to back this off, and I'm going to build something else. It's just a little bit different. I'm going to build a triangle / arc piece, and we're going to do like a pie slice out of this, so that it doesn't look quite as goofy. So we want to do, oh gosh, probably like 50, probably do like 53. No, let's try and just aim for like a 60mm section here. That's 60 millimeters. We want to do, let's just do 50 degrees. Let's do that. Okay. We'll catch. Let's do it again. My brain stopped working today. There we go. We want that one, and we want this one to go here. You could probably take that out. That's actually not the right angle there. There we go. It's a little bit closer. Maybe a little bit closer to what we're looking for, I think. Let's break this back just a little bit. Let's run it one more width out that way. We're going to do this two ways. We're going to take that at the 45s just like that, and stretch that out here, and stretch this one out here. Bam. Okay. And we are going to make a circle. So what I could do, there's a couple of things I could do. I could run this as an arc. So I can make a line, make an arc, and then run that all the way around to connect everything the way that we want to connect. I can also just draw a circle because these are at 45s. I just noticed that those are off by a little bit. So since they're at 45s, I could just run a circle all the way around this that hits every single one of those. And bam. Okay, cool. Now we got it. And what I want to take and do with this, if I can get that to connect with the circle. Okay, I can pick out these. I can pick out these angles, and this is kind of what I want to capture right here. Is these two pieces. We're going to take those and we're going to cut And we're going to cut into this element. We're just going to extrude those in and go down to that spot right there. Right? I think that looks okay. So I'm having a hard time seeing that actual piece, but I want to get just to the inside of that. So we're going to go into there. I think it's 2 millimeters. 2 millimeters. Bam. Okay. So that doesn't quite look exactly the way that I want it to. So we're actually going to take out, a little piece of this really fast here. We're going to take these out. Take these, delete that, and we're gonna bring this back just a little bit. Not sure how deep I want to take that in there, but let's do this. Let's take this out here. I actually like the look of this, I think, better. Okay, it's going to look a little fuzzy. I got to advance it forward just a little bit. Show you what that's going to look like. But there's that. And it kind of takes out a good, probably a good bit of it there. Kind of captures like a decent conceptualization of what this should look like. And I think I will take even more of this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm actually going to change the shape of that again. We're going to keep changing the shape until I get it to where I want it to be. I want to add another element on this that kind of captures this piece here. Again, I'm not 100% certain how this is going to end up, and we will play around with it some more just to get it to where we're looking at it here. Okay. All right. That's way better. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Well, again, I was wanting to try and capture that inner ring shape, and so it was really vexing me how I was going to achieve that, and I think I've gotten it now to where I want it to be. And so I'm going to spin that just a little bit there, and we're going to round this part just a little bit too. So that comes up like so, and I hope that I can round this just a little bit too. I can't control this thing. Okay. So I really don't want to have this like super sharp line on this end here, because it kind of feels a little, I guess a little aggressive. I think maybe it would catch people's hands a bit, and so I'm just going to round that off, and we're going to keep an eye on what we did there. So we captured that kind of that sweeping look of on the Graflex, that retention ring, and maintained the outer diameter 33 millimeters. So we're going to do that again over here. I'm actually going to add, let's see here, I'm going to add all 4 of those elements to this. Catch that, and catch that. And then we'll loop that. Oh my God, oh my God. It looks so good. I'm happy with that. One of the things that I like to do is round this inside, not round it, but I like to give it just, I am going to radius it just to see what that looks like, but I usually chamfer it with a with like a 0.25 on it. Delete that one. Yeah, okay. I usually chamfer the inner diameters of these, anything that contacts the blade, with like a 0.25 or a 0.15 chamfer. It's usually 0.15, and that way when your blade touches it, it doesn't like take off any of your blade like outer diameter, because that polycarbonate will, you know, shred over time when you're putting it in on raw edges, and so I just like to take it take a little bit of time in the designs to chop off that outer edge a little bit so that it's not quite as aggressive. We're also going to apply that outer edge feature to all of these outer edge components here too. And I realized there that I just forgot to add this element here on that. So there's that. Okay, and we're going to add this outer element too. Let's see how we do this. Edit that feature, add it. Add it. Bam. There we go. Okay. That's kind of coming together pretty dang well. I think that looks pretty good, actually. Kind of happy with that. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Going to do a little bit of this. We want to do a 15 or 2.5. I think that looks pretty good. A 2.25 chamfer on that is going to look pretty sharp. And what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate what we did on the front or the top of that with what we're going to do on the bottom of it. And we'll run another set of lines out from this interior along this 45-degree axis here. Do that. Do that. We're just kind of exploring that concept there to see if that worked, and it did. So we will make that. Oh, come on. What was I doing? Why did it do that on that side? I screwed it up. The reason is because I didn't set my plane. That's why. I want to build on this plane, not that plane. This plane. Okay. So one of the things that happens is your plane is always set for the origin on your design, and so if you don't specify which starting plane you want to start at, it will start you at your origin plane, and then if you make your whole drawing like I did and decide I want to change that, it ends up being a pain in the ass. All right, there we go. I think that I don't have these set correctly. I don't, do I? Nope. Okay, there's that, and there's that one. All right. What is even going on here? I don't even know what that's about. I don't even get it. All right. That's not even lined up correctly. What the crap is going on here? I don't even know why that's doing that. All right, let's try it again. We're going to go out 45 degrees. That's better. I think I was catching the wrong angle. My eyes were just not working for me tonight for some reason. 135. That's 45 degrees. 135. That's 45 degrees. Okay. Okay, got the extrusions caught there, and we wanted to go -2. And if that registers correctly, okay, yep, that's what we wanted, -2. So we're basically right in that space. I gotta go look and see what this curve was really fast so I can match it. 2.153, that's a really specific number, but we're gonna go for it. 2.153 curve back here. 2.153, just so it matches nicely, and then we needed to catch whatever that one was. I think that I can just edit this feature and add that curve there. Yes, okay, and then I'll just edit this other feature to add that curve. Hey, look at that. I did a thing. Okay. I need to catch this guy here. Look at what that one was. Whoops. Okay. Now this is kind of cool. We get to go back and try out some of these other pieces. Nope, I can't do that. I need to move that forward a little bit. Let's move that forward, and we want to move this element forward. Wait, what? Okay, and then this one here. I can capture it. Okay, so we've got that. We want to add a couple of elements to this. We're going to put on this here, and that, and that, and that, and these, and those. Boop. Nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go find a Graflex really quick. I'm gonna go find a Graflex picture, and I want to show you what this looks like. I'm going to talk about which element is the one that I'm looking at, right? Trying to find like the most traditional Graflex, if I can find it. Because I think that's the one that's the most important to show you, because that's what this is trying to capture. Yeah, there we go. Ah, get out of my face. Okay. Let me get a picture. Sorry, I'm surfing the internet right now, and that's usually faux pas while I'm on a podcast, but I'm trying to find the right picture so I can get the best look at this part. Here we go. I don't know why people put the, like, they take the picture from up here, but they put their Saber down on the ground. But I'm gonna, not on the ground, but down on the space. I'm just gonna snip this really quick, and I'm gonna get a close-up look at what we're talking about here, because this is the really key element that I want you guys to see. I'm just gonna drag it. Actually, I can't drag it into the screen. Dang it. Let me see here. Let me get this to pop up on here. How to do this? Let's do an image window capture, and we're going to create a new image, and I want to put on the snipping tool. Yeah. Okay. Now you guys can only see a black screen, huh? Well, that's dumb. Let me save that as an image. Boop, boop. Okay, 1 second. I will try this in a different. Let's do an image. Bring in an image. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna browse it up, find this thing. Let's give me 1 second here. Okay. Okay, George. You guys should see that now. This is the component that I was talking about, this clamp section. And so if I rotate this just a little bit, you kind of see what I'm talking about. Kind of a little bit. It's not perfect. It's not wide enough to really be a Graflex clamp necessarily, right? But it has the same kind of makings, the same sort of idea and shape to that. And so if I put it on the other Graflex piece, it might even actually be sized appropriately for this. So let me just work around here to the top and see if I can get an angle on it. Yeah, it's close enough. Kind of get an idea on that shape. So we'll go ahead and close that little window off really quick. Where did I put that? Image. Okay. So What we're going to do is we're going to punch a hole into the bottom of this thing, and I think that I'm right up against the window of time for the end of the night, and so just going to catch this here at the halfway mark. It was 8 millimeters, so I want to go to 8. Oh, gosh darn it. Why would you do that? Kind of cheating on my measurement here, and I'm using the circle to do my measurement, and so as with all circles, you gotta get on the middle. That's not it either. Come on. Why is that not working the way I want it to? I need 8. Because that's the middle of the ring, because that was 16. And we're going to put a 4 millimeter hole on this guy and punch it through the back of it. Okay. I want to put a chamfer on that, give it a 2.5. Give this a thread. We're going to go create thread. Make that a 4 millimeter thread hole and show it. All right, and so I want to save this as an updated. Let's see, E shroud. Not that one. E shroud. I can't type. Graflex clamp ring. And we're going to kick this ring off of here, delete that sucker, and we're going to put this new ring in here. We're going to see what that looks like. And I might do some more scaling to see if I can get it to scale properly so that it looks really cool. But, oh my god, oh my god. When you see the whole thing together. Dang it, dude, that's super cool. Okay, that's what that looks like. Once you put those pieces together like that, oh my god. I think that that looks really cool. You guys aren't going to be able to convince me otherwise. No way. No way, dude. I love doing this. This is so much more fun than any of the other things that I get to do. But there's your ring. I think I might end up expanding that just a little bit to cover up that 12 millimeter gap that we're talking about. So like the general shape is going to stay the same, but you can still see this clamp back here behind it, and I don't like that. And so I'm going to expand that central ring out to fit that whole thing, and that should achieve the aesthetic of the Graflex. And so I think that I'm at a happy point. It is now the hour mark of the show. We've been on for an hour and 7 minutes. Actually, 7 minutes longer than my hour show, just because I wanted to design this first. But yeah, you get that turned just a little bit. Try and get an angle a side view of it. Come on, you sucker. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. You let me know what you think. Drop something in the comments, holler back, whatever you want to do. I'm not going Stefani though. I ain't no holler back girl. Just let you guys know that. If you like what you see and what we're doing here on the cast, shoot me a message, let me know, and just to give you guys a gee whiz. I want to recap all the stuff that we talked about tonight. So number 1, 2 parts released at the beginning of January: the Type 3, the Type 4. Adapters at the end of January, beginning of February, you're going to get the Type 4.1 and the 5 adapters, and those will be releasing really quick at the beginning of January. Coming right behind it in production right now is the MPP, or the first VHC Vader styled MPP emitter section that is modular and made up of a couple of pieces. That's coming in the end of February, early March timeframe, and so we're just going to keep this train coming. And then if you guys haven't been following along in other spaces or seen kind of all the hints that are coming out of it, there's another project that is like right behind and ready to launch here in the next probably week or two. There might even be a special launch party not launch party, a special launch cast next weekend talking about it. I'll be at the pitch. I'll talk to you guys about all the stuff and really explain what the gist of the whole situation is. So if you want to talk about that stuff, come stop by, whatever. If you're not on the Discord, you should join the Discord. It's something in a place that we use to talk and discuss and have all kinds of cool interactions with one another and really engage in Saber discussions. And we talk about other things that aren't Saber related, like video games. We talk about Star Trek and Doctor Who and a whole bunch of other things. So if you're not on the Discord and you see this, come join the Discord. I don't have a link in the description. I should get one. But if you look up Corvus Saber Foundry's Roost, you can find us there. That's what we do. We do lightsaber stuff there. And so it looks like my stream is a little ways behind. And so I don't know why that's so far behind, but my hope is that that it will catch up and do the thing that it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do that, and you guys are now seeing this. But anyways, my name is Tim. This was the Corvus Cast. As always, come here and watch for all the new cool updates and all the stuff that we like to do here at the cast. Join us the next time, potentially next week, to talk about the important things. For now, that's me. I'm out. Bye. See you guys later. I'll catch you around.